She's seen red because, I don't know, I remind her of her ex-boyfriend and she doesn't like me pretty much, right? So, think, what have I got next to me? Observation. So I observed before that there's something here. So now, I've got this, I'm trying to talk, I understand your situation, you know, whatever the case may be, he's okay too. So I'm in a very good position to react. If she pushes me, my stance is my base is very strong. If she pulls me, again, my base is very strong. I'm in a really good position to control. Bang, I'm gonna pull down and give myself a little bit of that breathing space. So now when she tries to choke me, it's really difficult because I've got my fingers in the way. And now I work on escape. Now when you escape this choke, you never turn away, you always turn into your opponent. So I turn in, from here, like this, okay? I have to ask you to leave, please. This is the last time I'm asking you, otherwise I will remove you from the premises.
Nah, good luck with that.
Right, boom, you get in position. Yeah, that's much better control. So, what happens is this, I'll just borrow it for a sec. What we're doing, let's say for example, we have our, can I get you to stand where I was? And she says, look, well, I'm gonna have to ask you to, not ask you, or it's time for you to leave, or whatever the case may be, and that's our third cue, and we're moving in. I don't want him to see me, because if he sees me, he's gonna turn, and now we need to change our strategy, because the angles have changed. So what we're gonna do is this hand slides in here, right? This hand slides in here. And the first thing that I want to do is, this is what we call a C grip. See my, it's like a C? It's called a C grip. I use a C grip to trap his hand or his wrist. Not like this. Pull your hand out. I'm gonna hold it out, pull it out. Pull it, punch it out. Punch your hand out.
That.
C grip, reverse grip. No reverse grip. C grip. Huge difference. Massive. One grip. On top. Not like this. You can escape this all day, especially if he's got a little bit of strength. This hand comes in. This one's C grip. There. Okay, you can use this if you want. I prefer the forearm. He's not going anywhere. And I use my body as a third triangular point. It doesn't matter what he does. If he's trying to move this arm, he's trying to move my whole body, not my arms. He's got 89 kilos to move. Let's go. So I use this.
Yeah.
All right.
Hi, my name is Steph from Job Pedal, and we're joined today with Costa. Costa, I've just got a few questions for you today. Many of us have been told not to fight back when you get attacked. It'll just make them more angry. You'll just get hurt even more. What, as a woman, should we do?
That's a really good question, Steph. I think, look, it's not a black and white answer. It really depends on the situation and it depends on the severity. I would suggest, I think because people have a misconception of self-defense and it doesn't always necessarily mean to retaliate and fight back. A lot of the times it primarily means to get us to a point of safety where there's no harm caused to us. So I think by using this approach first, it enables to give us a better analysis of whether we do the fight or flight syndrome kind of from a psychological perspective.
Okay. So, as another example, what advice would your best self-defense tactic be if someone enters your home and threatens you, maybe if you have your children with you or something like that?
Sure. Okay, so this is a good example of now we're actually building a scenario, and this is quite serious. So we're in the privacy of our own home. We have our family with us. So the scenario of self-defense changes. We put ourselves in protection mode because the things that we care and love so dearly to us are threatened. So in this situation, we need to take the appropriate action. Now, there's two alternatives. If we're facing an opponent or we feel like there's a threat where weapons can be involved, the best ideal situation would be to put ourselves in a room or an area of safety where we could possibly lock the door and call the appropriate authorities to take action. That is the safest option. Of course, if that option isn't available, then we kind of progress to more sort of confrontational area. So my first recommendation would be to put ourselves in an area of safety, whether that may be a room or an area of where they can't get to us. We can possibly close the door and call for help, and let them deal with the situation as a first approach.
Okay. So, what if you potentially did get into the situation where you were confronted with a person that did have a larger weight or strength advantage than you?
Yes. Okay. So now we're moving into an area of where it's a lot more confrontational. So they're right in our face. Again, if they're in a position where they may sort of want something from you, I really love your Rolex, give it to me, and and you actually gave it to me and I left.
Yeah.
You've done the appropriate defense mechanism. You've complied and they've left. So you've defended the situation quite well.
Okay.
Now, if it actually got physical,
Yeah.
this is where we need to fight back. So we use this as a last option, okay? Especially if there's a sufficient amount of weight advantage.
Okay. So you never want to actually put yourself in that situation. You
Yeah,
want to try
we
and
wanna-
get out of it.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
So we want to take
Okay.
advantage of all the prior steps before we start to get physical, because it psychologically affects us. It throws us off. I mean, if we're turning around and someone's standing in the privacy of our own home, you get in that shock mode because you want to. You need time to comprehend what's happening and then take the appropriate action. And this is where the delay response happens.
Yeah. Okay. That's really interesting, actually.
Mm.
And as one more last question, what would be the single best self-defense tip, maneuver, or move that you could give to a small framed 60-year-old woman who is in relatively good physical condition?
So she's in really good physical condition and she's at a huge weight disadvantage. Okay, so the best option would be to run if you're in good physical condition, because you can always use areas of trying to avoid to not being physically dominated, because weight advantage is a massive role.
Yeah.
If you weigh 40 kilos and I weigh 80 and I have double your weight advantage, there's only so much you can fight back, especially if I get you to the ground and I get on top of you.
Yeah.
So and then we move into more technical aspects, like you really have to know technically what you're doing. So there's a level of training involved. So that would be option one. Option two, if we have to fight, we want to use areas such as, like our fingers, where we can attack vulnerable points of the body, such as the eyes, the throat, the groin region, where we can temporarily stun our opponent to make our escape.
Okay.
Because it doesn't matter how big and strong they are, you're attacking areas that everyone has the same weakness in.
Okay. Yeah. So it's not like going to be like a movie fight scene. You want to get away
Unless
fast as you
you're
can.
highly trained, more than likely not.
I don't know. When
Yeah.
I think self-defense, I think of like all those cool.
Yeah, but you got to
tricks
know
and
what you're
things.
doing, right?
Yeah.
So it's different. If someone's been training like me for like 40 years, it's very different to someone that hasn't trained much. You know what I mean? And really, to get to a proficient level of self-defense, you need at least a couple of 2-3 years of solid training.
Yeah. Yeah, that
It's
makes
like
sense.
anything. You need to practice it to get good at it.
Yeah.
And if you teach me how to do a backflip once, it doesn't mean I'm going to do it.
Yeah, that's true. You need to have
Correct.
like the muscle memory as well.
So you need to build repetition. You need to exercise. You need to keep at it, and you get better and better and better. And it doesn't come off every single time, but your success ratio improves.
Yeah. At least you don't have nothing at all. Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you for your advice and tips.
My pleasure.